Good evening, guys. I hope everyone is well. Enjoying or not enjoying the quarantine. As you know, we're going live tonight. I'm going to be doing about an hour of live. Catching up now with Matchroom Boxing USA team. Also, anyone out in the States. So we got Danny Jacobs joining us first. We got Demetrius Andrade. We've got Maurice Mighty Mo Hooker. We've got Katie Taylor. We've got Mark Castro. We've got real Devin Haney. Catching up with all of those people. Shout out to everyone today. You might have seen the news today that the British Boxing Board of Control and others have announced that there will be no boxing in May in the UK. So our 3 May shows, May the 2nd, Dillian Whyte, Povetkin and Katie Taylor against Serrano. May the 9th, which is Selby Cambosa, Joe Cordina. And May 23rd, Usyk Chisora have been postponed. May the 2nd, Dillian Whyte will now go to July 4th in Manchester. The Cardiff show will now go to July 11th, and we'll be back soon with a date for Usyk Chisora. So, annoying, but what can you do? I'm going to look to bring on the Miracle Man, Danny Jacobs. For some that know or don't know, let's see if he's online here. Okay. Daniel Jacobs, when we first went to the US, Danny Jacobs was like the first guy that we really targeted to sign. So I went to HBO and I told them that we were going to be coming to the US and could I get a TV deal with HBO? And they said, look, we'll give you dates, but obviously you need some fighters. So I said, well, who should I get? And they said, why don't you try and go after Danny Jacobs? So I made a beeline for Danny Jacobs' manager, Keith Connolly, who's now a very good friend of mine, and grafted to sign Daniel Jacobs. And it was a big moment for us because I've been a long time admirer of Danny Jacobs. I mean, anyone who doesn't know the Danny Jacobs story, too much because he's, I believe, on the line now as we look to connect with a Miracle Man, 2-time middleweight champion of the world. Yeah.
What's up, man?
Long time no see.
Happy quarantine, buddy.
Hi, mate. Are you Atlanta or New York?
I'm in Atlanta right now.
Sounds like a better place to be.
For sure, definitely.
New York sounds crazy.
New York is probably the worst place to be right now. I'm happy to be here, safe, away from everything. I'm vibing, man. I'm just trying to stay safe with the fam.
You know, Dan, I think that with you, like, you're probably the best person in terms of mindset to deal with certain situations. Everyone knows your history. You come back from cancer, told you might not survive, might not walk, certainly never fight again. But before we go into the questions, what's your message to the people right now? I'm sure I said earlier in a tweet on Twitter, as much as this is difficult in a virus capacity, from a mental perspective, this is tough for people who might be out of work or people who are stuck indoors. That we know they're going to face financial struggle as well. What's the mindset to overcome challenges in that kind of situation?
Well, one thing that I've learned, especially early on in my career, when I was kind of being, fast-paced and a knucklehead, I didn't really plan for a rainy day. And when I caught cancer, remember, I completely lost everything. So my mindset was always to make sure you plan for a rainy day, because the situations when pandemics like this just came out of nowhere. You need to be ready for any and every situation. As far as the mindset goes, I mean, my mentality is you just have to just get through it, because there's really no other option. You know what the options is if you don't continue to push yourself and thrive through any and every situation that presents itself. I mean, this is probably the worst situation that the world ever seen ever in my lifetime. So, I mean, right now I'm just making sure that my family, my friends, my fans, everyone in the world, just remain safe so that, we can end this thing.
Agree. Now, listen, last time you didn't box too long ago. On a scale of craziness, how crazy was December 20th in Phoenix, Arizona? Against Julio Cesar Chavez? Was it just a wild experience? From the missing the weight to the 200 beers or more in the ring after. But
hey, when I look back on it,
event and amazing memories.
A funny event for sure. I loved every bit of it. Even though, I mean, it was, you know, the fans were upset, but I just think that experience in general was a good way to end the year off.
Obviously, moving up from middleweight, where you was a two-time middleweight world champion, moving up to 168. Although Chavez came in at 172 and more in that fight, how did you find that transition to 68? And do you feel like maybe you should have done it earlier in your career? Difficult one, having become a two-time world champ, but. And I know that all fighters still think they can make it, don't they? It's like Maurice Hooker
for sure,
was at 140. I can still make 140. I know that even in the camp to that fight, obviously you made 168 so comfortably. I know I can still make 160.
Well, I mean, in boxing, you got to make sacrifices. And I think for me, trying to push myself to the limit because the opportunities were there at the middleweight division. So even though I didn't feel the greatest, and even though the weight stipulations that were put in every contract damn near kind of really made it impossible for me to be as great as I can be, being that I was a big middleweight anyway. I felt like maybe I should have moved up, but I mean, to give up a fight with Canelo, I don't think anyone would have done that. So I've accomplished that. I've experienced that. Now it's time to be comfortable and move on to bigger and better things. And I'm excited about the super middleweight division.
When we look back on that Canelo fight, obviously being on the inside, we got to see how difficult it was for you to make 160 for that camp particularly. But is that frustrating looking back? I mean, we all see your fight with Golovkin was epic. We all know that's a fight that could have gone either way. We felt you won that fight. But against Canelo, it was still a fairly close fight. And really, we didn't really get to see the best of Danny Jacobs because of the weight struggles in that fight. I mean, I know that hasn't been documented very much, but for me, I feel it's important to say because we saw it. I know you don't want to make excuses, but we saw it, you know?
Yeah. Well, I just look at it like this. I mean, regardless of how you look at it, I just feel the opportunities that I've made the sacrifice for were definitely worth it. I mean, it put me in a position to have my name exposed, to, you know, be at the biggest platforms, and just build my fan base. I've always wanted to share my story, and I've been at the biggest height in boxing, and I just feel like that's the greatest thing that I could accomplish and made the sacrifice for. So I don't regret it, but now there's something bigger and better to look forward to. So it's kind of like, you know, a new chapter in a sense, and it's going to be exciting.
Also, I will say that is quite a big pull in the background.
Oh, thank you, brother.
When we go up to 68 now, obviously two of those champions are from the UK. You've got Billy Joe Saunders and Callum Smith. Two of those guys also from the States, Caleb Plant and also Benavidez as well. How do you, I know you don't like speaking badly about, and this is not about speaking badly, but how do you rate those guys from 1 to 4 in your honest assessment of who you feel is the strongest super middleweight world champion right now?
I mean, to say who's the best is kind of hard to say, but I would say, you know, I mean, all those guys are top. I would probably put Plant at the bottom of those names that you just named.
Really?
But Benavidez, yeah. I think Plant is good, but I think he's, you know, you know, he can be beat. He's beatable. I see a lot of flaws in his game. But as far as Benavidez, he's probably the strongest that I've seen amongst all the guys that you just mentioned. But now that I'm coming up to super middleweight division, that, you know, it's interesting. And now these guys have my attention, and I'm going to be studying, looking forward to, you know, what's best, what's next for me in my career. But as far as right now, it's this little weasel that is in my little spine that I can't get out. His name is Gabe Rosado. He's been annoying the hell out of me.
He's doing a good job to try and get the fight.
Lord have mercy, this guy, man. So I don't know. I don't know where my next fight might be, but
is that beef, or is that just like you've been there before? You know the game inside out. You're looking at the world champions. You've got a guy in Gabe Rosado, good fighter, good profile, but for you to and no disrespect to Gabe, you have to pick him.
Sure,
you know what I mean?
For sure.
Like,
and he knows that.
Yeah, but
yeah,
is that his game right now? I mean, I know there was some stuff off camera we saw of you guys on an escalator in Vegas. Then he was at the Phoenix fight, went a little bit, but do you think he's just like a little chihuahua at your heels right now?
Yeah, I just think it's a little envy and it's a little jealousy. You know, I remember him saying something as far as when I was commentating, trying to say I'm trying to be a fake Andre Ward. But I'm a versatile man. I can do many things, you know, and I think that because he's a gatekeeper, I think, you know, it doesn't sit well with him because we all came up together, you know, and for me to surpass him the way that I am and the way that his career has gone, he has to go other routes to get a fight. And what fans don't understand, you know, we all want to do it for the fans as far as picking the best fights, but sometimes there's the personal fights that you want to be able to get out, and it's going to make a good fight as well. So for me, I'm just looking at this fight, you know, like lamb chops right now because he's food.
Two other guys on that list potentially. One, Callum Smith, who's obviously stated that he would love to fight you in the States as well. That's a big fight, good fight, big
I love that fight.
168 pounder, and someone that could give you, you know, an opportunity to become a two-weight world champion.
I love that
fight. 3-time.
For sure. I love that fight. I think he hasn't truly been tested yet, especially against a top-notch world-level fighter. I'm not sure if it's been hard for him to get fights at that level. But his last fight with Ryder, if I'm not mistaken, was a very close,
he's another
tricky
guy
fight.
That could be a potential opponent as well. I mean, he proved himself 100%.
Exactly. So it's really so many opportunities out there for me, but the top-notch guys is just, for me, it's exciting because they're all good, and I know they're all going to test me. And now that I'm vouching that I'm going to be my best, and we've just seen me, you know, my last outing, me finally have a chance to be comfortable. And, you know, I made Son of a Legend say no mas in 5 rounds, you know. So give me another opportunity to get acclimated, and let's go for the gusto.
Okay, good stuff. Well, listen, we're gonna wrap out there, Danny. Thanks for joining us. Quick message to the fans. We know you're supposed to be out in June. It'll be around that time once this is all over. July maybe, but not long for you. But a quick message for your fans.
Are we still live? Okay, hold on. Here we go. I think I'm a little froze. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, cool. You're back. To the fans, I just want to say, everybody stay safe. Stay safe. Be safe out there. It's a crazy world right now. Just stay indoors as much as you can. Only go out for essential things. I know to the boxing hardcore fans who stay in the gym, you got to be safe. You got to do it indoors because it's a real dangerous world out there. We got to make sure we protect ourselves, get this thing over with, move on to bigger and better things. We'll get over this soon, guys.
I've just got one question from Ben Davison, who's Tyson Fury's former trainer and Billy Joe Saunders. He said, what was the main difference in technicalities between Triple G and Canelo that you found in those fights?
I found Canelo to be a little bit more slippery, trickier, but less active as far as pressure and punch output. But I felt Triple G to be more active as far as his pressure. And even though he missed a lot, I do feel like he was a tougher challenge because he imposed himself. Well, he tried to, at least. He tried to impose himself, and he tried to make it a good go. I think Canelo would just worry about being a counterpuncher and fighting in spots where, you know, it could have been more of an entertaining fight, me and Canelo, but I just think the Triple G fight was probably the tougher and, to me, probably one of the best performances as well.
Articulate as ever, Mr. Jacobs.
Thank you.
We'll see you soon, my friend.
Stay safe, guys.
Yourself. Cheers, Dan.
Right.
Bye, mate. Wow, what a classy guy. What a classy guy. Thank you, Ben Davison, for the question, because my questions were shit, really. So we're trying to get Demetrius Andrade in here. I believe we have him. We're a couple minutes behind schedule, but we're going in with Boo Boo, WBO World Middleweight Champion. It's me again.
It's me again.
How are you, mate?
I'm good. I'm chilling. How you doing?
What's happening in Providence? Are you in Providence?
Yeah. I'm in Ocean State.
Quiet?
Yeah, it's quiet, man. You know, just trying to stay away from people. You know, my condolences to all the people that's out there that, you know, family members or somebody that's involved in this whole coronavirus thing, man. This thing is not easy. You know, there's a lot of things going on where it's like they're making little funny jokes, which is cool and stuff. But, you know, also, you know, people need to, you know, also give homage, respect to the families and the people that's really going through the stuff, and be happy that it didn't hit home yet, and just be safe and do what needs to be done, you know?
Good point, sir. You're looking very handsome today, Boo-Boo.
Yeah, you know, I try, man. I try. It's hard to be this handsome, but it's a gift of the curse, you know? Tall, black, and handsome here. It's me again.
We're gonna talk boxing. So listen, I want to say that every now and again you represent a fighter that is like so difficult to land the major fights for, and it's really difficult for us as a promoter to have someone who, you know, they've said before, oh, he just doesn't have the activity. All of a sudden we got you nice and active. Oh, he just doesn't sell tickets. All of a sudden we go to Providence, you do like 8,000 or 9,000. It's wild. So the excuses are running out. Why do you think people don't want to fight you? Is that a stupid question? Or you just think, is it the style? Is it something they don't know that is it a rumor in the game, in the gyms, that you can't beat Demetrius Andrade? What is it, and how frustrating is it for you?
I mean, you know, you got to look at it as a business. You know, at the end of the day, does, you know, that person like, you know, Canelo or somebody, you know, or what their contract is. You know how contracts go, but win, lose, or draw, what's gonna, you know, kill the chain, the cash money guy. You know how it is. Some people lose and their contract goes down in numbers. So it's, at the same time, it's like, why am I going to, you know, take the risk of fighting Andre where it's a possible chance of me losing and then I have to start all over again, you know? But if you're good, if you're Canelo, if you're Triple G, if you're Billy Joe Saunders, whoever you are, Charlo brothers, if you're good and you lose to the better man like Demetrius Andrade, and you continue to show and make your own legacy, you're still going to be you can still be a Hall of Fame guy. You can still be one of the top guys. You just lost against one of the best guys, the greatest guy. That's it. That's all how I look at it, you know. But at the end of the day, I'm willing to put my skill and talent, my willingness against anybody out there in my division, and you know, let the people see what they've been wanting. The best versus the best.
I asked Danny to kind of rate the 68 division, but I'm going to ask you about some guys that are sort of fluctuating between the divisions. Do you rank Canelo as I mean, arguably, you know, you're going to say you're the best at 60, but in terms of outside of you at 60 and 68, do you rate Canelo? Is that a silly question? He's head and shoulders above the rest right now. Do you give Billy Joe Saunders a shot with him if that fight happens? Do you think he's beatable at 60 or 68 outside of yourself?
Yeah, of course. Everybody is. It's a 50-50
And who do you think can beat him? You think Billy Joe can beat him?
If Billy comes in and does what he has to do, yeah, anybody can be beat. It's a 50-50 fight every time you step in the ring. That's how I look at it. For me, for anybody, and yeah, anybody can be beat, man. It's 50-50 out there.
There's a couple of questions coming in about Sergey Derevenchenko. And like when I look at planning your future, obviously what we all want now is you want the biggest fights, preferably the unification fights. But obviously Derevenchenko put up a great fight against Gennady Golovkin last time out. Super, super close decision. Could have gone either way. Do you like that fight as well against Derevenchenko? I mean, I think style-wise as well, could be a great fight for you.
Yeah, I asked for that fight before. You know, I have no problem fighting anybody in my division. Anybody. You know, I'm already fighting anybody. I'm fighting whoever is available at the time or whoever is willing to get in with me. So I'm not sitting here picking and choosing anybody. I would like to fight, you know, the well-known, popular guys out there, but that's not the case. But if you could put a Derevenchenko fight with me, I would definitely love to take that fight.
And, you know, there's over here in the UK, there's a lot of people. It's probably gone under the radar a little bit with everything going on, but obviously we know you have a mandatory due, which is Liam Williams. Quite a lot of people in the UK getting excited about that fight. Liam Williams is on a good run right now. He's an aggressive fighter. Good performance last time out against Alonte Fox. What's your thoughts on that fight, and what's your thoughts on Liam Williams?
Yeah, you know, I think you said this last time against Luke Keeler, and we seen what ended up with that fight. But listen, Liam Williams, toodles to him. I'm happy for whatever fighter is, you know, climbing the charts, the ladder, and making their way to be able to fight for a championship title. And that's what he, you know, proved to do, is get in the ring for a WBO shot with Demetrius Andrade, myself, and let's go. It's all good. Like, I'm not, you know, knocking anybody's hustle, but he is not going to be the one to stop this train.
A lot of talk about Charlo fight. Is that a fight that for you is the fight right now? Unification fight, WBC world title. A lot said back and forward. What's your message to Charlo?
Hey man, listen, you know, 7 mil, 7 mil, cat. Come on out, a lot of money. Still, no matter what, like I said, you know, the win, lose, or draw, whichever way it goes, it just goes to show, you know, the best. Supposedly they say that they're the best. I say I'm the best, and I'm willing to put that in action. And so it has to be the other way around. So, you know, all I can do is just keep doing what I'm doing, winning. Whatever fighter comes upon, we take the challenge and we make it happen, and we do what we do, and we're still undefeated, and we're winning, and we're doing the style, and I'm giving, you know, different performance every time I step into the ring.
What's your position now in terms of your weight making at 160? We know you're a huge middleweight. We also know you won world championships at 54 as well. You're a 2-weight, 3-time world champion. Are you comfortable still at 60? How long do you see that? Or is it just a case of if there's a big fight at 68, you'll jump up and take that as well?
Yeah, I wanted to fight Billy Joe next at 68 for the WBO. That was the perfect, you know, if I don't know what's going on with this Canelo thing, you know, the whole coronavirus has put a dent in, you know, what boxing and sports and just the world. But yeah, I would love to run up to 168 and fight Billy Joe.
So that could be the move for you. Maybe Liam Williams next and then Billy Joe Saunders, or maybe we work something out to move straight to 68 and fight Billy Joe if you don't get Canelo.
Yeah, listen, you already know, man. Make it happen. Make it happen, Eddie Hearn. They want to see your boy. Make it happen. Put me in there with anybody. It don't matter who it is. Just line them up, and I'll be there.
There's a couple of questions.
I'll be there.
Last question. A couple of questions coming in about Chris Eubank Jr. Are you aware of him? Do you rate him?
You know, I have seen him. I think I might have seen him fight when I was going to fight Billy Joe back in until whatever happened. But I looked at that fight to see how Billy Joe took on some pressure. So that was the only fight I actually seen of Chris Eubank.
Right, Demetrius, we're going to wrap it up, mate. Just a quick message for your fans. Tough times for everybody right now.
Quick message. So, right, they was like, all the toilet paper, all the malt liquor, go get yourself the firearm. So I'm like, shit, I might as well go and go get me something. So I went to the weapon store, and I asked the guy for a 12 gauge. So he was like, here's a 12 gauge. And then I go, I'm not that stupid. Don't I need some bullets? So he pulls out 2 boxes of bullets. He pulls out a bird shot, and then the second box was a box with dares. And I'm like, okay, so how do we get into this? He goes, well, what you want to do is put birdshot, buckshot, birdshot, buckshot, and after that, the gun goes Jamaican. It's like buckshot, buckshot, buckshot.
That's horrendous. That is horrendous. Well, on that, mate, we're gonna have to lose you there, mate. The line's gone terrible. I'll speak soon, mate.
All right, man. Take care.
Take it easy, mate.
Cheers, mate. Bye. That was some Dave Chappelle for you.
Cheers, mate.
All right, peace.
Boo Boo Andrade, 2-weight, 3-time world champion. I believe we got Mighty Mo Hooker in the house, guys, who obviously felt I'm just going to get a bit of charge for my charger. Can't even move, actually. And he was one of the first guys who was affected by this whole corona situation because, of course, his fight on April 17th against Regis Prograis was called off. One of the first fights to be called. So we're going to go on to Mighty Mo Hooker, former WBO 140 world champion. Mate, if we get Hooker at a good stage, you know Maurice Hooker has 8 kids. I'm waiting for him to send a request for the live. Maurice Hooker has 8 kids. If we can get this right, it's going to be madness on this live. Did you really send a contract to Charlo to fight Boo Boo? No, I've sent him about 3 different offers. Matchroom Boxing admin guy, can you ask Mo Hooker to send a request, please, for a live? Prograis going to stop Hooker? What's your opinions once we get this fight up and running? Maurice Hooker against Regis Prograis. Who you got? Who you got? Okay. We're on the situation. We have... Yes, Mo!
Hey, how's it going?
What's happening, mate?
Nothing much. Trying to stay safe. Yes.
Dallas?
Yes, sir. I'm in Dallas.
How's the world in Dallas?
It's going pretty good. A little slow, but it's going good.
Yeah? How's isolation treating you?
Oh, it's pretty good. You know, just every day just been with the kids in training, staying focused.
I was telling everyone about your 8 kids. 8, right?
Yes.
Magic number. I was expecting them to be like one on each shoulder, one pulling the hat down, or have you put them away for 10 minutes?
Oh, you have to put them away 10 minutes. They going to school online, so I got a little time to myself right now.
Good man, good man. Mo, I just said before you came on, you were one of the first guys, obviously, to be affected by this postponement. Your fight April 17, which was supposed to be, 3 weeks' time, just under 3 weeks now, against Regis Prograis. How's that been for you? How frustrating is that? And what do you have to do right now in camp? Obviously, we know that when we do return, you'll be the first fight back, but we don't know when that will be. So how does that affect the mindset of a fighter?
Man, I'm just going to stay focused, stay in the gym. You know, my health, everybody's health is very important right now. So I'm staying focused and just being my kids and family. And I still want this fight. I want to get in the ring and shut this guy up because he talked too much. And I'm ready. I'm ready whenever it happens.
A lot of people excited about this fight. A lot of people talking about this fight with Regis Prograis. What is the key to victory for you? The reason that you beat Regis? We saw him have a great fight with Josh Taylor over here. You had a great fight with Ramirez as well, both unification fights. But what's the difference between you and Regis Prograis?
What's the difference between me and him?
Yeah, and how do you beat him?
Oh, I'm just going to take a round by round, listen to my coaches, you know. I'm not going to go for the knockout unless I see it. And I just believe I have every skill to beat him. I can outbox him. I can fight him inside. I will beat him, and I'm just going to, win each round by round. I want to get excited like I did with Jose and just take my time.
Obviously, when we talk about moving up weight divisions and everything, we're just talking to Danny Jacobs there about the fact that he's moved to 68. He thinks that he could maybe still make 60. And I know you're a guy who this fight's at 143. You feel like you could make 140. We've seen you struggle on the scales at 140 time and time again. Do you think the move to welterweight is inevitable? I mean, do you feel that obviously you want to try and win back that belt at 140, but a move to 147 is inevitable in your career?
Oh, yes. Hopefully maybe by the end of the year. But like you said, I want to win my belt back. I want to be a champion again at 140 before I move up. Then I'm go to 147 and fight anybody. Obviously,
you've shared a ring with Jose Ramirez. Great fight, one of the fights of the year. And your next opponent, Regis Prograis, has shared the ring with Josh Taylor. Who do you think wins the fight between Josh Taylor and Jose Ramirez? We know that it's not guaranteed to happen. But who do you think wins that fight?
That's a good fight. Because we know Jose going to bring it, the pressure. And Josh Taylor pretty tall, so and he can box southpaw. It's going to be a good fight. I would go with Josh Taylor because I say the southpaw a little awkward. And you're going to keep him on the outside and just box him.
Obviously, the camp now with Bomac up with Terence Crawford. How does the history work between you and Terence Crawford? I see him at all your fights. You two, I could tell in the Ramirez fight, you two are very close. He was in your changing room before. Just from the amateur days, you two?
I know. When I went to fight Terry Flanagan, me and him shared training camps together. He fought Jeff Hearn, and we was in training camp, and we just got close. And when he fought in Dallas one time, my first time sparring him, we just been close. He been calling, checking up on me. He just always been there. Him and Bomac, everybody, the whole team. You got Jermaine Harrington, you got Steven Nelson. It's a lot of us who train together.
Do you rate him as the number one? I know you're also close with Errol Spence as well, so I'm going to ask you a really tough question. Who wins, Crawford or Spence? Come on, man. You're not going to give me an answer on that, are you?
It's a good fight. I will be there. I don't know, man. The fans going to be happy about that fight. It's going to be a good fight.
Yeah, for sure. You done plenty of rounds with Terence, obviously. You rate him very highly.
I mean, I said he's one of the best. He's very smart in the ring, you know, very smart. His punches always be on point. I mean, if I come to camp and I'm not in shape, it's gonna be a long camp. But so before I get to camp, I like to train and be in shape before I get. But it'd be a good camp.
Can I ask you about two other guys who I feel like are potential opponents for you if you were to win the Regis Prograis fight? Number one is Mikey Garcia. Obviously, you saw him beat Jesse Vargas recently in a good fight. A lot of people feel that he's not a 147, but he wants to prove himself and try and win another weight division. You like that fight at 140 or 147 against Mikey?
Oh yeah, I would love that 147 if I go in there comfortably. That's a good fight, you know. I want to fight the best out there to be the best. I want to fight the best. I want to fight him or whoever, any guy y'all put in front of me. I'm ready for him.
And another one who's coming on joining us later is Devin Haney, who seems to be calling out the world at 135, 140. Again, you know, a potential fight for the future for you. You rate that? You rate young Devin?
Oh, I sparred him a couple of times in Vegas and in LA. He's a good fighter. He's a good boxer. I say he's one of the best coming up. Yes, in the future, if I get that phone call, I would love to fight him.
And finally, Mo, your fight with Regis Prograis will be announced soon once this is all over. One of the first fights back. Your message to the fans during this tough time?
This is a fight that nobody don't want to miss because this guy talk too much. I'm ready to shut him up, man. I'm ready to get in the ring with him. You know, everybody who see me fight, you know, I'm coming to fight. And I want to knock this guy out. I want to shut him up and put him on his ass. I know I'm coming. The fans got me as underdog. It's okay. It's cool. I'm still going to beat him.
Mo, a pleasure as always, mate. We'll be back to you with that date soon. Stay safe over there.
All right. Thank you. You too.
Cheers, Mo. Take care, mate.
All right.
Mo Hooker. Peter Berg. Shout out to Peter Berg, just joined. Who we got here? We're going to be going to Mark Castro. Mark Castro, one of the top young fighters. Ellie Sekbak, what's happening? Yeah, Mark Castro, recent signing. Real potential superstar. I wanted to get him on the live and just let you guys see him and hear about him because you're going to be seeing a lot of him in the future. And I believe we're going to be joined. Katie Taylor is on after Mark Castro. Then we've got Devin Haney. For now, Mark Castro, what's happening?
What's up? What's up, Eddie?
Mark, I'm a bit worried because you just turned pro and I see you got a very nice whip.
Oh, I got it before I turned pro.
Okay, I'll let you off, yeah? So you're not spending your money before you made it?
Nah. I got it before I turned pro. I got it in December.
Okay, fair enough. So all this, you know, you obviously that sponsorship with Gymshark's going well.
Yeah, it's going good. Everything's good.
Good,
how's
mate.
Everything with you?
It's good. Obviously, tough times everywhere. What's life like in quarantine in California, in Fresno?
It's good. Everything's just slow right now. I'm still training hard. It feels like training camp. And I just stay to myself, to my family. That's how it's always been. So nothing has really changed.
Frustrating for you, obviously, due to fight either on the Regis Prograis Maurice Hooker card, but obviously, you know, was a potential for the Canelo card as well. Frustrating that your pro debut's got to be slightly delayed.
Yes, it's frustrating, but I'm still training hard. I'm just getting ready, more time to get ready and sharpen my game. And when the time is right, when we start up, it's just going to go like a wildfire. It's just going to keep going.
Obviously, I wanted to bring you on here to the guys. Some will know about you, some won't know about you. Run down your accomplishments as an amateur, one of the most decorated amateurs in US boxing history.
I'm a 17-time national champion, 2-time amateur world champion, the second American to do that, and I have a record of 177 wins and 7 losses.
It's not bad, eh?
Yeah, it's a lot of sacrifices.
I said, you know, a lot of people won't know about your story. When I first met you, obviously managed by Keith Connolly, who's got Danny Jacobs as well, but very close with your dad and the journey that you've been on with him. I'm jealous of that. You know, obviously he's your trainer as well, but he must be very proud and has obviously been there with you from the start of this incredible journey.
Yes, my dad has always been there. My dad knows what's best for me, and it's so humbling to have my dad along the journey because those are memories you can't replace.
A lot of people talking about your weight division. Talk a little bit about where you feel you're going to start that pro journey in terms of weight and where you feel that you're gonna end up going.
I feel like I could start at probably my first bout maybe 127, 28, and then try to fill out if my body don't grow yet or soon enough. Go 126. I feel like I can make it, and eventually down the line, which is like 10, 15 years, maybe 154. Having a
Wow.
great career, everything going good.
You got to win a You got to win a world championship in every one of those divisions.
Yeah, and unify and all that. Yeah.
Undisputed as well. I mean, you might as well.
As well.
Yeah. When you talk about 26 right now, obviously some of those guys you've spent some time. See, I'm guessing you would have just been around with Shakur Stevenson, coming through the amateurs as well. How do you rate those guys at 26? We got, for me, the number one guy right now, where he's number one ranked. It's Josh Warrington, the IBF world champion. Obviously, you've got Shakur, you've got Gary Russell, you've got Kanzu, you've got Leo Santa Cruz. How do you rate those featherweights?
Like 1 through 4?
Yeah.
I feel like for number 4, I'll probably be Leo Santa Cruz. Well, number 1, I feel like number 2 is Gary Russell. Number 3, Josh Warrington. Number 1, Shakur.
You rate him that highly, yeah?
Yeah, he's that good.
Wow.
I've seen Shakur like dog it out with Terrence Crawford.
Really?
And I feel like Shakur.
You know what? I felt like when he turned pro, Shakur, that he didn't really have the punch power, and this is one thing I think is really interesting for the amateurs coming through. I see it with Ray Ford as well recently. You know, they start off in their first 3 or 4 or 5 fights, and it might be the same with you as well. You know, where they're not quite setting their feet in the same way. And I feel that Shakur's power has really developed in a short space of time, because I wasn't sure whether he would have the power at 26 until he started, stopping a few guys.
I feel like Shakur's always working, improving his game. So if he feels like he needs to work on something, he's going to work on it.
Obviously, training for you is going to be geared with your father, but also you spent plenty of time with Eddie Reynoso as well. Do you think that'll be an element you'll be adding to your team as well?
Yes, eventually. I'd love to work with them, and I feel like it'll be a great mesh together, and the sky's the limit.
When you went in there and you were seeing the fighters, obviously there's a lot of talk at the moment about Ryan Garcia potentially fighting Devin Haney. We know you're quite friendly with Ryan Garcia as well, but you rate Ryan Garcia highly as a real threat at 135 pounds?
There's the 135 is stacked, but yes, he's really skilled. It's all skilled. Sometimes it's whoever has the best day those days for the lightweight division, because everybody's talented at that division, from Devin Haney, Lomachenko to what's his name, Teofimo Lopez and Ryan Garcia. And
it's a great that division's gone unbelievable. I mean, you got our Luke Campbell as well. You know, you got Javier Fortuna, Devin Haney, like you said, Lopez, Lomachenko, Ryan Garcia. It's an unbelievable division.
Yeah, that's the division that's gonna bring like the spark back to the fans and stuff.
Tell the fans watching, Mark, when you were coming through the game, who were your heroes? Who were the guys that you watched coming through? Who are the guys you still watch now?
The main guys was coming up would be like Oscar De La Hoya, Floyd Mayweather. So when they fought, that was kind of like big. Manny Pacquiao, and then it was Marquez, and then it was Triple G, Canelo, all of them, like all those big guys. But right now the main one is Canelo, because he's like taking the lead with the sport, being the face of boxing, and it's great to see.
A lot of people telling me off because I didn't mention Gervonta Davis in the lightweight mix as well.
Yeah, I mentioned him. I said
you rate him highly.
Yes, I do. They're all, because his punching power is incredible, and keeps himself in the mix with the lightweights, because he's talented as an amateur, and then he got that punching power, and he always switches up the angles with everybody. So they're all talented. They all have their unique things.
We know you're going to have a massive following in Fresno, in California, and obviously Mexican heritage as well. But tell us a little bit about your heritage, because I know El Salvador as well. Big part of that.
Mexican. I'm Mexican. I'm Mexican and Salvadorian. My dad's Salvadorian. My mother's Mexican. And yeah, that's two Hispanic cultures that I feel like they're great boxing fans.
Mate, we look forward to following you guys. People tuned in here, you're going to see Mark Castro boxing in the US, in the UK, in Italy, in Spain, all over the world. And mate, I can't wait for you to start your pro career. quick message for the fans as well? Obviously, tough times for a lot of people as well. People stuck indoors, people waiting to go to work, etc.
Just keep cherish your loved ones at this time, and just keep staying positive.
Mark, look forward to seeing you soon, my friend.
Okay,
I can't wait for people to see you fight.
Yes, sir.
Take care, mate.
I'll take care. Peace.
Bye, mate. Mark Castro there. Now we are moving on to, in my opinion, one of the biggest legends of the sport of boxing. Forget women's boxing, forget men's boxing, just the boxing. And that is Katie Taylor. Oh, sorry, guys. Katie Taylor is a 6-time European amateur champion, a 5-time amateur world champion, Olympic gold medalist, undisputed lightweight world champion, also won world championship up at 140 as well. She don't like talking, and I've roped her into this, but I believe she's standing by. Here we go. Yes.
Hey. How are you? Thanks for the introduction, Abby.
You're actually listening. Yeah.
I was, yeah.
You just sound like another press conference. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How are you? I know.
Great,
I know you love your interview, Katie. Do you know what I mean?
This is my favourite part about being a professional boxer.
You've been looking forward to this all day, haven't you?
Yeah.
You are. I said to Brian earlier, your manager, I said, you are like the queen of quarantine anyway. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like my whole life has been a
isolation.
quarantine.
Have you noticed anything different at all? Like, if you're
I said to my family, you realise you're in isolation so much when you have to go into quarantine, and nothing has changed about your personal life.
I know.
But
like, it's difficult for everybody.
great.
I know that we announced today the May the 2nd fight with Amanda Serrano pushed back to July 4th. We hope we'll be up and running by that date as well. How does the mindset change for you with the date change? I know your work ethic is incredible anyway, but just tapering down slightly now. You got
I mean, I have obviously been over here for the last few months training for May 2nd, but this is a time for me to just kind of work on a few things now, and this isn't a time for anyone to take their foot off the gas. I think it's going to pay off for the fighters who are disciplined right now.
Are you a big believer in a lot of people are saying right now not just across boxing but across business that this is actually the time where you can close the gap on people? I guess for you, there isn't really a gap on anyone, but it's like a case of they'll be trying to close the gap on you and doing the smart work in this time.
Exactly. And as I said, I'm just working on a few things now. These are times where it actually makes a difference, I feel. You can turn this into a positive and actually try and work on a few things. And when the boxing world does get back, I'm going to be one of the fighters who was disciplined, and I'm going to be ready for whenever that fight date is.
Well, that fight against, obviously, Amanda Serrano, undisputed lightweight world championship. For the first time in that fight, although, we're never going to see you throwing tables at press conferences, I don't think spite's the right word, but I feel like there's something inside you in this fight where you obviously, I know you want to win every fight, but you got the bit between your teeth in this fight with Serrano.
I mean, everything's just pretty much the same for me. I go into every single fight with the same mindset. Nothing has changed there. I want to go in and produce the best performance I possibly can on fight night as well. So, I mean, she obviously does an awful lot of talking, and it's going to be the same coming up to this fight as well. But I don't get involved in anything like that. I'm just focusing on my actual training. And
do you think it's one of the most dangerous fights of your career? I mean, I've watched her live quite a few times. I would say, in terms of punch power, you can genuinely see at ringside. She punches very hard. She's very confident as well. Obviously, well schooled as well. You put it right up there as one of the toughest you faced so far.
Yeah, definitely. This is literally the best fight and the best, isn't it? These are fights that everyone wants to see. So, it's a very, very exciting fight, and not just in women's boxing, but boxing as a whole. This is a fight that people want to see. So, it is a dangerous fight for both of us, but it's also a career-changing fight for both of us as well. This can be absolutely huge. Whoever wins this fight is going to be cemented as the #1 pound for pound in women's boxing.
I know that you probably got bored now saying that women's boxing's on the rise, and I feel like we've almost gone through that now, and but you can't help comment about the how great it is to see, and how easy it is for me to make fights in the women's game, because you've only got to look at like Eva Wallström, you know, where she just sort of took the fight to fight Terry Harper recently. You know, it was a fight where she was coming over, and you probably thought Harper was a favourite in that fight. Now Natasha Jonas jumping in with Terry Harper, you know, Serrano stepping up to fight you, you know, Breakhouse wanting to fight you, McCaskill moving up another division to fight Breakhouse as well. Women's boxing's in a brilliant place.
Yeah, it really is. Women's boxing couldn't get any bigger right now, just with all the fights that are getting made, and it is great that we're not, you know, contracted to these different TV stations or whatever, where we can actually make these fights happen. This is exactly what the sport needs. It's very, very exciting, and yeah, I'm delighted to be involved in it.
Your thoughts on Terry Harper's caused a lot of interest over here. Really come on, great performance against Eva Wallström as well. Fighting Natasha Jonas coming up. That's supposed to be end of April. Will be pushed back. Good to see two English women go at it for a world title as well. And has Terry Harper impressed you as well so far?
Yeah, I think she's been brilliant actually, and she's only so young as well. I think she's only 23. She's only going to get better and better over the next few years as well. So, yeah, what a great ambassador for the sport, and she's willing to fight anyone and everyone as well, which makes it even better. But for Natasha Jonas, it's a huge domestic fight, and I don't think we have seen the best of Natasha in the professional ranks yet, but maybe this is a fight where she actually does turn up and produce a great performance. I know how good Natasha can be because I fought her numerous times in the amateurs, so and she hasn't really impressed that much yet as a pro, but maybe this is a fight where she can actually produce a great performance.
And of course, one of your former foes against one of your potential foes, April 17th, again postponed, but Jessica McCaskill moving up to 147 to fight Cecilia Breakhouse. Again, should be a great fight. Tough fight for Cecilia. You'd fancy her, I guess, being with her pedigree and the size advantage as well. But should be an interesting fight.
It's a very interesting fight. I'd imagine Cecilia will outbox Jessica, but it's a very, very big, huge fight, and obviously Jessica has a big punch as well. So who knows what can happen there?
Everyone's talking about the potential. Obviously, you got to beat Serrano, but everyone talks about the Breakhouse fight. Of course, undisputed lightweight world champ against undisputed welterweight world champ as well. Is that for you that the natural challenge if you can come through Serrano, or when you come through Serrano?
Yeah, I mean, I obviously want to be involved in the biggest fights, and I can't obviously look past Serrano right now, but it's always a big mistake when fighters are looking past their opponents. But if I do come through Serrano, obviously the fight with Brackers is a history-making fight, undisputed champion against undisputed champion. And when has that even ever happened before? I don't think it has.
Where do you stand on weight for that, Katie? Just so, I mean, we might as well do the contract now on Instagram Live. You know what I mean? But obviously, we saw you up at 140. We know. I remember when you started, we always said that you'd make super feather, and that you'd win a super featherweight world championship first. Obviously, after a few fights, it's clear that it was a little bit tight, and you preferred lightweight. You went to 140, but probably struggled to eat yourself into 140. Where do you think the line is drawn with that fight with Breakhouse? Don't worry, I won't hold you to it, but it's an interesting situation because she's you know she accepted, but I can't even remember off the top of my head. I think the McCaskill fight's at 145.
Right.
So she's obviously got the plan to come down, but anywhere around 142-ish is not a problem.
I mean, we can make a catch weight obviously at a similar weight, maybe 142. I can't really go above 142 much, but I walk around about probably maybe 142 or 143 at most. So we can definitely do a catch weight at around then, and that would be a super fight, wouldn't it? So whatever you think yourself, Eddie.
No, well, listen, you're the boss. Whatever you tell me, whatever you tell me, whatever you try and tell me. I've got to ask you, because one thing, I know we're being watched by 14, 1,500 people, but in terms of your faith, which always impresses me, does that keep you just so balanced and comfortable? I think one thing that's interesting, I don't want to go too deep on it, but obviously there's the problem of the COVID-19 virus right now, but also the problem that it will have in terms of the effect on people's mental health as well. You know, it's something that gets talked about a lot. You know, whether it's being stuck indoors or whether that's struggling financially or with anything in life. How much does that faith that you have, is that, I'm fascinated by it because
Yeah, I mean, for me, I mean, I always, it's obviously awful that what's happening with the coronavirus. The whole world is on lockdown right now, but there's a lot of good things that are happening as well. I mean, it's people's lives have been forced to slow down. Maybe, you know, they have to reconnect with their families again. And there's even online on the internet, there's church services saturated online every single weekend. And for me, it's just a time to kind of spend more time with God, I guess. Read His Word and read the Bible, and that's mental health for me. I get great comfort from that, and I've always said from a very young age that that's where my confidence comes from. That's where my strength comes from, and that's why I don't need to talk before these big fights or talk trash, because from a very early age I love the Bible verse in Isaiah that says, "In quietness and trust is my strength." And it's not something that I feel I have the need to actually. I'm just going to be myself, obviously, and that's it really. But yeah, definitely God is the center of my life.
Very good,
Yeah.
Katie. Katie, it was a pleasure. I hope that wasn't too painful.
No, what do you
You've
want to
done
see my garage gym?
Go on then.
Yeah. I know that all the gyms are shut up right now, but I'm absolutely delighted to have my garage gym here.
Go on then.
And I actually bought this house just after my last
Is this
fight.
Ross's gym?
This is my gym.
Your gym? So you've got two gyms over there.
Yeah.
This is the one you built. I saw you
Exactly.
doing your own workout stuff yesterday.
Yeah, did you like it?
Yeah, it's good. I'm not going to try it though.
Yeah. What do you think?
I'll tell you what, that's better than most gyms I've seen, full stop.
Right?
It's better than most gyms I've seen.
Yeah.
Have you done your session? You've probably done about 8 sessions today, haven't you?
Well, I just had a running session this morning, so not too bad, but yeah.
All right, Katie, thanks for everything.
Yeah, thanks, Eddie.
July the 4th, we'll be rocking and rolling.
Sounds great. Thanks so much.
Take care, Katie.
All right.
See you, mate.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.
What a legend. What a legend. I love Katie Taylor. I think she's fantastic. Right, one to go. And it's the man that is causing shockwaves through the lightweight division. It's Devin Haney. This has been pretty slick, I've got to say. We're dialing him in. Last one. Yo!
Good day, mate.
All right, mate. How you doing, mate? All right, Governor?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
Well, listen, all I see is you all over the internet calling people out. We posted your new video. So you've gone like 0 to 100 from this injury that you had, straight back to it. I get the impression you're hungrier than ever. Yeah,
I'm hungrier than ever. I feel great. The surgery couldn't have went any better. Like, it feels like my shoulder is like even better than it was, you know, when I injured it. So I'm excited to.
Well, I guess coming off the injury, we don't know how long that was there. You know.
Yeah, exactly. Until I fully injured it to where I couldn't compete, we never knew if it was actual, you know, longer than what we knew.
Obviously, your video today, which was literally calling out absolutely everyone in the division right now. When do you think, obviously, plan to fight around July time, Corona pending, and we hope to be in action then. But all these guys, you literally want to line them up and get them ready. Let's talk about the Ryan Garcia fight as well, because for me, you know, when you talk about the politics of boxing, that's a fight, obviously, two broadcasters, same broadcasters, you know, Golden Boy we work with as well. A fight that in reality should be easy to make, but at the same time, it's still very early for you two in your careers to be jumping into fights like that. But you're ready, right?
I think that it's just so many big fights out there that could be made. You know, the Lomachenko, Teofimo, the Gervonta Davis, the Ryan Garcia, the Luke Campbell, the Javier Fortuna. There's so many big fights out there that we need to start making these big fights happen now, because eventually guys like me, Teofimo, Ryan Garcia, we're eventually going to move up. So I think it's the perfect time is now.
Honestly, like for people that don't know, and I know that there's a lot of talk in boxing, but genuinely, I don't think I've ever met anyone so young who really doesn't have to take those defining fights now.
Yeah.
Like you, where you, like, genuinely, it's no bullshit with you. You want those fights. It's easy to call these guys out. And listen, I know plenty of teams, not normally fighters, but there might be trainers or managers who will be just calling guys out. But really, behind closed doors, it's like, yeah, but you know, we'll have a couple of more fights.
We'll just keep building it up, At that point, I'm ready to make it happen. Like I said, I feel like I'm one of the best fighters in the world, and I'm willing to take on, you know, whoever the fans want me to fight. You know, it's not, you know, I'm just not doing it for a clout or anything like that. I'm doing it because I believe in myself. I believe in my skills, and I know that I'm the real deal.
And obviously, if you are the real deal and you land those mega fights, it's just going to snowball from there and spiral out of control to superstardom. And that's what you want, right?
Definitely.
I mean, you want the finer things in life, Devin.
Of course.
I've been around you long enough to know.
I love money, and, you know, I want to get paid, but at the end of the day, you know, I want my name to live on longer than I ever will. I want my name to be mentioned with the greats when it's all said and done. So
where does that line, where's that line drawn between being that guy who's showing off stacks of hundreds and Lamborghinis and villas to, because I know you, like, sometimes I see you post stuff and I might think, like, you look quite flashy, but I know you and I know how hard you've worked. I know about how you started your career in Mexico in like literally like dead end venues with your dad going out there literally like hustling for slots. Where does that line come from you between being flash and being that role model? Because for me, I want you to be a role model as well. I feel like you're one of those guys, one of the few guys in America that can genuinely be a role model to the future generation and to the kids as well.
Yeah, it's about having a balance. You know, I want to be a role model. You know, I want the guys to be motivated, also be motivated to you know, that I'm not only just a student of the game. I'm not only, you know, 100% focused, but I'm also, you know, I'm getting paid well for what I'm doing. So they know that if they look up to me and they watch me, that, you know, it leads to a great path, and, you know, you can make a lot of money.
Obviously, you come over to the UK recently. Just like, tell me a little bit about your experience with UK fight fans. All the American guys that we work with as well say, like, my Twitter's like, I've got so many UK followers now. And obviously, when we came over, I wanted to put on that workout for you, and I was a little bit worried, like, who might turn up. And it was one of the busiest workouts we've ever done. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was crazy, like the feedback that I got from the UK. It was crazy because the other day I had a dream about me, like I was in the UK. I don't know, which is weird, like, but you know, it was fun being in the UK. I want to come back, you know, soon when all of this is over with and everything is settled and it's safe to travel. I eventually want to go back to the UK.
Let's look at that lightweight division. We know we got Javier Fortuna against Luke Campbell. We know you want to be reinstated as WBC world champion as well, because everything with the coronavirus, you're no longer unavailable to fight. But talk us through the Campbell Fortuna fight and your thoughts on Luke Campbell. For me, it's a natural fight for you guys to make at some point as well. You know, talk about possibly doing that fight in the UK, and you know, I know that's a fight you like as well. But what happens in the Campbell Fortuna fight? Break that down for me.
I think it's a 50-50 fight. Any one of those guys can beat each other on any given night. I feel like Luke Campbell, he's a good fighter, Olympic gold medalist. You know, I take nothing away from him. You know, he went in there, he put up a good fight against Loma. You know, he showed that he was a force in the lightweight division. But every fight that he's pretty much stepped up against, or every fight that was actually a step up, he pretty much lost. So, you know, I can't really, you know, say that he's, you know, really one of the top guys. I feel like that is a fight that I would want. If he beats Fortuna, if I don't get reinstated as the WBC lightweight champion, then the winner, I would love to fight. But I feel like they should reinstate me because I got stripped because I wouldn't have been active to fight my mandatory. But the two mandatories never fought. So what sense does that make? If I'm able to fight the mandatories, bring it on with whoever it is.
Your thoughts going into a potential fight, undisputed fight with Teofimo Lopez against Lomachenko? Do you give Teofimo any shot in that fight?
Yeah, I think that he definitely has a puncher's chance. You know, he's a young, hungry fighter. He's going in there with, you know, everything to gain, not much to lose. So I feel like he's gonna go in there and give it his all. So he definitely has a chance to win the fight.
Yeah, when we talk about moving up, I know like the Abdullah fight, you made the weight right. Did a lot of travelling around before the Staples Center fight, but right now the game has changed so much at 135 that it's really worth hanging around there. How have you found your weight since you come back from the injury? Because I know when we met in Miami, you were saying you were surprised how light you were.
Yeah, since I've been off, it's crazy how much like I lost weight. I think because I was just doing so much conditioning that I was building muscle mass. That since I've been able to rest and recover, the weight has been like it went down. So I feel like I can make 135 easier. I'm much more motivated, and I'm ready to face my mandatories. That's more than any other fights right now. That's the fight that I want because I want my belt back. I'm hungry. I'm motivated, and I'm ready to go. 135. I don't even at this point. I don't even want to think about 140.
But in time, we know your aspirations are to be a multi-division world champion. How far can we go? 54?
Yeah, 54. Floyd told me that he thinks I'm gonna be, eventually a 160 pounder. I don't know. We got to see, but we're gonna take it one weight class at a time.
And what's happening in? You're in Vegas, right, at the moment?
Yeah, I'm in Vegas.
What's life like there in the quarantine?
Yeah, it's actually pretty good.
That must just be the weirdest thing to see Las Vegas on lockdown.
Yeah, it's like ghost town. It's not like you go on the strip and it's not one car on the strip. It's pretty much like ghost town. But I really just been staying in the house as much as I can. And like I'll have like maybe like some of my family members over, like very few, the immediate family. But other than that, I've been just trying to stay away from people and stay safe as much as possible.
Cool. Well, Dev, listen, thanks for tuning in. We've been on for over an hour now, and a little message for the US fans, the UK fans, everybody around the world. Tough times.
Thank you for all you guys, supporting me. When this tough time is over, I'm gonna be back in the ring. Everyone stay safe, and hopefully you guys see me face my mandatories and become WBC, lightweight champion again.
Well, you are WBC world lightweight champion. It's simple as that. So let's see you defend it this year, and let's see you have that big fight. I want the Ryan Garcia fight. I have to be honest.
Yeah,
I think that is a massive fight. Like in terms of the two of yours profile, you're both great role models, great ambassadors for the sport. I think we can do that 1, 2, 3 times. It's a brilliant fight. I'm on to the zone, Golden Boy. Let's make it happen. But summer return for Devin Haney. We'll see you soon, my friend.
See you guys. Thank you.
Cheers, Dev. Bye, mate. Cheers, guys. Thanks for tuning in. 1 hour done. I think we was on time for everything. And hope you enjoyed it. Appreciate it soon. All the US fight fans, thanks for tuning in. UK fight fans, I'm sure you're on the call as well. And we'll be back later this week with some more content. Take care, guys.